I talk about James Comey giving his little sanctimonious, self-righteous speech after his second behind closed door interview on Capitol Hill as it relates to Hillary Clinton's emails, the Russia kerfuffle, and whatnot. But before I even tell you more about it and give you my 2 cents, what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and roll the clip. In this clip, you'll see him talking about whatever he wants to say. After we get done with that, I'll analyze what he said. I'll talk about James Comey, the deep state, and other things in general. And then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
So another day of Hillary Clinton's emails and the Steele dossier. This while the President of the United States is lying about the FBI, attacking the FBI, and attacking the rule of law in this country. How does that make any sense at all? Republicans used to understand that the actions of a president matter, the words of a president matter, the rule of law matters, and the truth matters. Where are those Republicans today? At some point, someone has to stand up and in the face of fear of Fox News, fear of their base, fear of mean tweets, stand up for the values of this country and not slink away into retirement, but stand up and speak the truth. I find it frustrating to be here answering questions about things that are far less important than the values that this country is built upon. Happy to take your questions.
What impact does it have when the president calls Michael Cohen a rat, someone who's cooperating with an investigation, and questions how his office was raided by the FBI?
It undermines the rule of law. This is the President of the United States calling a witness who has cooperated with his own Justice Department a rat. Say that again to yourself at home and remind yourself where we have ended up. This is not about Republicans and Democrats. This is about what does it mean to be an American? What are the things that we care about above our policy disputes, which are important? There's a set of values that represent the glue of this country, and they are under attack by things just like that. We have to stop being numb to it. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, you need to stand on your feet, overcome your shame, and say something.
Do you feel like there was any legitimate investigative value to what happened here today, or was this just a political exercise?
I can't answer that because I don't know exactly what they're investigating. The questions about Hillary Clinton and the Steele dossier strike me as more of the same. I didn't learn anything new in there. Maybe they did.
Okay, so you saw that, you heard that, you see what's going on. Now, James Comey, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Fear of Fox News, fear of mean tweets and all. Like, what are you talking about? First of all, who's really scared of Fox News? Honestly, Fox News is like the only somewhat conservative station on television. Every other station is in the bag for you, for Hillary Clinton, for everything that is deep state left. And sometimes even Fox News goes on the whole deep state left thing. Tucker Carlson himself kind of came out against Trump recently a little bit in some random magazine in Sweden. So let's not pretend that Fox News is this omnipotent being that cannot be defeated and everybody's afraid of and everybody kowtows to. That is not the case, sir. Most of the media is controlled by the same people and they work for the same people. The deep state, of which James Comey, I believe you are an intricate part of, which is why you had to get fired. And you're a weird case. You coming out and speaking against Hillary Clinton before the election, talking about, well, she's corrupt and, but it's not really enough to bring her up on charges. You're a weird case. You're like the kind of person that rocks you to sleep. And what I mean by that is this. A lot of conservatives kind of applauded you for your actions before the election as related to Hillary Clinton. But what a lot of us didn't see, including myself, is that you were trying to take away the power of the DOJ. It's up to the DOJ to say whether they're going to put somebody up on charges or what's going on. Okay. You took that power away when you came on television as the director of the FBI talking about, oh, well, there should be no charges. That's not up to you. That's up to the attorney general, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm wrong about that, chat, let me know in the comments. I'm not Albert Einstein, but I know a little bit of something. And the biggest thing that should be mentioned here that I did not hear you mention in your little sanctimonious speech was the meeting between Loretta Lynch and Slick Willie. At the time when Loretta Lynch and Slick Willie had the meeting, you were the FBI director. She was the attorney general. Why would she be meeting with Slick Willie on the tarmac at Phoenix in the airport for like 30 minutes where no cameras around, nobody, just really impromptu? It was not a scheduled meeting or anything. She happened to be on the plane. He intercepts her right at the same time the whole Hillary Clinton thing was going on. This is obvious corruption. We're talking about Banana Republic, right in your face, out in the open, quid pro quo, whatever you want, I got it, that kind of mentality. Trump comes into office and says things that people are upset about, like referring to Michael Cohen as a rat. People are saying, oh, that's unpresidential. You know, this is the president. He has to behave better. It's like, look, I knew what Trump was before I voted for him. People are upset that he is referred to as not a Republican, not a liberal, not a Democrat. They're right. He's not a politician. That's why many of us voted for him. What's the problem? Okay. I like somebody that's going to come in there and shake things up and not just be another cog in the machine, another, pawn in the game. Who wants that? You want somebody that's going to come in there and actually make change. Barack Obama promised hope and change, but all that we got was yet another puppet for whoever was puppeting him. I don't know who. We can call it the deep state, but I don't know exactly these people. But we know that when you're talking about these regular politicians, guys that have to get funded from the outside, people that make their career on politics, most of these guys are not going to be able to lead from the front, and they probably don't even want to. They just want to come in there and work a job. But Trump has the best interest of the American people at heart. He wants to lead from the front. He doesn't have to do this. He's not a career politician. That's why we voted for him. So you're talking about what's presidential and all this and that. It doesn't really apply to the current president, nor should it apply to any president. Every president should be their own individual. The most important thing that any president has is the ability to lead their country forward. You could talk about Twitter, you could talk about Fox News, you could talk about all those things, but it doesn't even really matter if the country is going on a proper trajectory forward and if we're succeeding. That's all I really care about. And I think that is all of what most Americans care about, which is why we voted for him in 2016. And it's going to be a runaway in 2020, in my humble opinion. The left is still trying to bicker over who's going to be the candidate. They're talking about Beto O'Rourke. They're talking about creepy Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, a bunch of weirdos, honestly, in my humble opinion, versus the incumbent Trump, who has a tremendous amount of support, who the media cannot stop talking about. I think I'll pretty much leave that there. James Comey, you ought to be ashamed of yourself talking about the president's a liar and all this and that when you went behind closed doors and said, I don't know, I don't recall, and I don't remember 240 plus times. Okay. If you're the acting director or the current director, as you were, of the FBI, and you don't know what's really going on, how does it make any sense? If you're telling the truth and you really didn't know about all of those things, you got fired, and it was a good thing because you were incompetent. If you're not telling the truth, then there's plenty of evidence to support that, because you had a meeting with Donald Trump at Trump Tower, his house, or wherever you were, and immediately afterwards, you not only remember everything that you heard, you wrote it down, and then you give it to your friends to leak to the media. If you're going to go through all those steps, then how do you not know what's going on in your direct circle of which you have to be in every single day as the FBI director? I'll leave that there. I don't have too much more to say. I don't want to get to rambling, but I just want to hear your thoughts. How do you feel about James Comey and his sanctimonious speech on Capitol Hill? How do you feel about him in general? I think he's just one of these people, like I said from the beginning, that rocks you to sleep. He wants you to believe that he's on your side. He wants you to believe that he has your best interests at heart. But I think he has the deep state's interests at heart to keep the status quo going, to protect important political figures like Hillary Clinton. I think that is his main goal. And also to be a part of this silent, loud, whatever you want to call it, coup to eliminate Donald Trump from the presidency, not to hurt him, but to remove him. He would probably be the kind of guy out there, if he was not James Comey, as we know today, with a resist sign trying to get Trump impeached. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the